brightness of this instrument. It's so bright and it really projects. I don't hear the full sound right under my ear, but I can tell that a lot of the sound is going out and projecting very, very well. So it's nice to not be entirely deafened by your instrument, but to know that you're able to project out into your audience or into the room to fill the room and the space that you're playing in. Very smooth transitions from lower position to high position. I find that now this instrument does have a slight V-neck, which is something that I've discovered recently. It's where the neck is not like entirely round, but it's just slightly V'd. And at first it really bothered me, like very much. So I was like, what is this? Why does my thumb feel this way? I've noticed that like it does give a more, well, not necessarily more, but it gives a pretty secure place for your thumb to sit whenever you're in the lower positions. And I find that I'm able to really check on my thumb as my thumb comes under, as I'm shifting. I'm like, okay, I'm on the bony part of the, or the tip of the V part of the neck. So it's just interesting how I can kind of keep better tabs on my left hand as I'm playing. So that was a very, very fascinating thing that I've discovered with the V-necks. But it does have a V-neck shape more than a typical round one. So just for y'all's information. I'm gonna play a little bit of Chartis. Dynamic contrast this instrument has. I'm definitely going to test out in a moment how soft it can get, but already I think that the low ends, the soft dynamics, are already raised up just a tiny bit, just so that like, and I think this would make a great solo instrument because even whenever I try to play softly, like you can still very clearly hear the notes, which is very important, especially if if you're someone who's trying to fill a room full of 100 to 200 people, 300, maybe even more. You want to make sure that you are conveying your soft dynamics whilst not disappearing onto the stage. And so I think that this instrument would be great for that, because even as I was playing a little bit softer, you could still hear the notes very clearly. So I really love that about this instrument. And I love when an instrument can do that. I don't feel like I have to work so hard to always be heard, which is really nice. So let's see how soft this instrument can get with a little bit of meditation. hard to play softly there. And it was like it's either 0 or it's like starting at 40, which was incredible. So you can always be heard. Now, in orchestra, you're probably going to have to figure out a situation where you can access the 0 to 40 dynamic range, because you have to play very softly in orchestra. But all it takes is just a little extra bow technique, a little extra work with the bow, which, you know, we have to do in orchestra anyways. Even if you have $1 million setup, you still have to put in that kind of effort. So but you know, if you're trying to speak out and trying to be heard, again, this instrument is so fantastic for it. It's great. I love how the vibrato sounds on this instrument too. It's very wah wah wah-y, and it just really speaks out, and you hear and it really helps push the sound out too. So as I was giving vibrato, it was really helping like send out the sound a lot more, which is awesome. So I'm going to play a little excerpt from just a couple of small little excerpts from various pieces. One of them, I believe, is Paganini. One will be Don Juan. And then another one by I believe Carl Baum. They tend to go out of tune anywhere from 1 day to 7 days. I think my instrument was, one time I tried all these new strings and it just kept going out of tune for like a week before it settled to forever. I really enjoy shifting on this instrument. I feel like my hand can just shoot straight up the instrument, which is really nice. I have encountered instruments where shifting felt very, very uncomfortable because of the shape of the body or the neck, or it was just very strange factors, but I was just like, oh, it felt very weird to shift. But here it's like my hand just zooms across the strings, which is awesome. It feels really nice to play. Again, like I said, it does have that V shape, and so it just takes a second to adjust to feeling that and noticing that in your thumb. I've played on a round neck for my whole life, so that's just what I'm used to. But it took me just a few minutes to adjust and get used to the feel. So, but other than that, the instrument's pretty comfortable. It's not wildly heavy. I probably would change up my chin rest if it were me purchasing this instrument, because I am very, very, very picky about my chin rests, and so that's something that I personally would do. But chin rests don't really speak on the quality of the instrument. It's just a little additional feature that you can swap out on the instrument just to simply make it a little bit more comfortable. This chin rest is one of the more comfortable ones that I've played on. I just have a very strangely shaped neck and shoulder. So don't forget to always adjust your chin rests and your shoulder rests in order to make the setup as comfortable as possible. It has taken me years, actual years, to find the picture perfect setup to where I am as happy as a clam on cloud 9. And so don't be afraid to experiment with that until you find the perfect setup. But anyways, that's not entirely what we're here for. That's just my piece of advice. But overall, this instrument is a nice bright one without being too overbearingly loud. Definitely has a big sound, fills the room. It does have some dominant strings on here, and if you've seen several of Revivo Violin's videos, I think you all probably know how I feel about dominance. I'm not the biggest fan, but Again, it's just like the shoulder rest and the chin rest. It can be changed out to push the instrument into different directions. You can get strings to push it out to be even louder. You can find strings that'll make it more warmer and dampen it just a little bit. Dominants are a great starting point to kind of get to know the wood and the overall sound. And so therefore you can find strings from there to complement. But yeah, y'all should come check this one out.
Thank you for giving this one a demo, Catherine. This violin, it's a single maker violin, actually labeled. It's violin number 5 from a CR Griffin. It looks like CR from New York. The city looks like Oneonta. I'm sure I would say it wrong, but if you're looking for a good violin, buy a single maker at a very reasonable price point. This is one of those. So it's certainly older. It has a oil varnish, definitely some patina, and the neck's been reset. The neck has been reshaped too. This one actually used to have sort of a V-shaped neck to it, and it's been expertly honed by a local violin maker. So hopefully that kind of helped with the easy shifts and easier playability with Catherine. But any questions, let us know. We're happy to help. And bravo, Catherine. Once again, a wonderful demonstration. And thank you, online friends. We couldn't do it without you. Hope you have a great day. Play on.